In the golden era of Nollywood, the late 90s and early 2000s, there were a few pairings that made fans believe in love beyond the screen. The chemistry wasn't just written into the scripts, it poured through the screen like sweat in a Lagos sun. In an era where storytelling leaned heavily on romance and redemption, certain actors found themselves repeatedly cast together because of their chemistry as lovers. So let's look at some of the most iconic on-screen lovers of that time, revisit the romance they made us believe in, and see where these beloved stars are today. At number 12, we have Ramsy Noah and Genevie Nnaji. If you grew up on Nollywood VHS tapes, this duo was your ultimate fantasy. Ramsy Noah with his heartthrob aura and soft-spoken delivery, and Genevieve Nnaji, the graceful queen of controlled emotion, were the Romeo and Juliet of the Nigerian screen. Their movies together include classics like Power of Love, Sleepwalker, Super Love, and many others. Ramsy played the misunderstood romantic, while Genevieve balanced strength and vulnerability with poise. And when they kissed, the TV screens blushed. You couldn't tell many fans it wasn't real. Their chemistry was effortless, stealing glances, drawn-out silences that said more than dialogue, and those inevitable scenes where love was tested by betrayal, illness, or meddling in-laws. It was Nollywood's love formula, and these two delivered it flawlessly. With all that on-screen closeness came whispers. Rumors swirled in the early 2000s that Ramsy and Genevieve were more than just co-stars. Fans hoped the real romance had spilled into reality, but those whispers faded when both stars took different paths in real life. Ramsy married Amelia Phillips Noah in 2002, a woman who has largely stayed out of the limelight, preferring privacy over the spotlight. Genevieve, on the other hand, has famously kept her romantic life under wraps. Despite being one of Nigeria's most recognized faces, she has never confirmed any public relationship and remains unmarried as of 2025. Today, their careers have evolved past the traditional Nollywood love templates. Ramsy Noah is no longer just a lover boy, he's a force behind the camera. He directed the horror thriller Living in Bondage, Breaking Free, and followed it up with the Netflix action hit Tokumbo, solidifying himself as one of Nigeria's top directors. Genevieve, not to be outdone, made global headlines with Lionheart, her directorial debut that made the first Netflix original film from Nigeria and was Nigeria's first submission for the Oscars in 2020. In 2025, she's still developing film projects, maintaining her reputation as one of Africa's most powerful women in cinema. At number 11, we have Richard Mofe-Damijo and Stella Damasus. Another duo that made Nollywood's romantic scripts sing was RMD and Stella Damasus. RMD, the older, suave gentleman with a velvety voice, and Stella, with her emotional range and expressive eyes, were a match that oozed sophistication. Films like Behind Closed Doors, Romantic Attraction, and The Intruder showcased their dynamic range as lovers torn between duty and desire, family and freedom. In Behind Closed Doors, their characters navigated betrayal and forgiveness with such intimacy that it almost felt like a documentary. Stella could cry on cue, and RMD had the kind of screen presence that made every word feel like a promise. Together, they gave fans a brand of adult romance that was raw, vulnerable, and unforgettable. Naturally, there were rumors. People wanted to believe that RMD and Stella had found in each other what they brought to the screen. The speculation peaked in the early 2000s, but like many Nollywood fables, it turned out to be just that, a fantasy. RMD had long been married to Jumobi Adekunle, a former TV presenter whom he married in 2000. Their union has weathered the industry storms, and they've raised the family largely away from the public eye. Stella Damasus has had a more public romantic journey. She was married to Jai Aboderin until his tragic death in 2004. She later married film producer Daniel Ademinoko, though the marriage ended quietly before 2020. Stella currently resides in the US, where she continues to work in film, music, and public speaking, particularly advocating for women and mental health awareness. She also runs an online platform that trains young African creatives in acting and voice work. At number 10, we have Richard Mofe-Damijo and Genevieve Nnaji. This was a pairing that felt like elegance meeting mystery. Though they didn't star in as many films together as the other pairings, the few they did, like Critical Decision and Keeping Faith, left a deep impression. RMD brought that fatherly charm and romantic wisdom, while Genevieve brought her trademark grace and quiet strength. When they played lovers, it it wasn't youthful infatuation, it was a mature, considered kind of affection. You watched them and thought, that's what grown-up love looks like. Unlike other on-screen duos, the RMD Genevieve pairing didn't attract many romance rumors, perhaps because of their age difference or their strong off-screen reputations. Still, some fans speculated, especially after red carpet appearances and joint interviews that showed their warm rapport, but again, it never materialized into anything more. As mentioned earlier, RMD has been married to Jobe since 2000, while Genevieve has remained a fiercely private figure regarding her love life. In 2025, RMD is still active as an actor, mentor, and occasionally direct. He's active on social media where he shares motivational content, stylish photos, and reflections on aging gracefully. He remains one of the most respected elder statesmen in Nollywood. Genevieve, meanwhile, remains enigmatic but influential as a producer and actress. Public appearances are rare, but every project she touches commands attention. Next up at number 9, we have Desmond, Elliot, and Okoye. Back when video CDs ruled the streets and everyone had a favorite film merchant, Desmond Elliot and Okoye were Nollywood's sweethearts in films like My Command, Destiny's Game, and Eagle's Bride. Their scenes together were laced with tenderness and flirtatious tension, that kind that left fans daydreaming about a real-life romance. Desmond, with his clean-cut charm, and Okoye with her expressive eyes with sultry delivery, made love stories believable. They didn't just act, they connected. Naturally, rumors flew from red carpet appearances to behind-the-scene whispers. Fans speculated about a budding relationship. Some claimed they were inseparable on set, others pointed to their undeniable comfort with each other off camera, but the whispers were never bloomed into truth. In reality, both stars found love elsewhere. Desmond Elliot married Victoria Elliot in 2003, and the couple has built a strong private family life blessed with 4 children. Okoye, on the other hand, was married to Stanley Duru, though their union eventually ended. Despite the personal challenges, she remained focused on raising her 2 children and rebuilding her brand. Fast forward to 2025, Desmond Elliot has doubled down on politics, continuing his role as a Lagos State House of Assembly member, blending entertainment with public service. Though criticized at times, he has stayed active in both spheres, even producing youth-centered advocacy projects. Okoye has become a wellness advocate and social media personality, sharing beauty, lifestyle, and spiritual growth content. While she doesn't headline movies like before, her glow hasn't faded. She has transitioned gracefully into the next chapter. At number 8, we have Rita, Dominic, and Jim Ike. If there was ever a Nollywood pair that brought fire and finesse to the screen, it was Rita Dominic and Jim Ike. From Unbreakable to The Bachelor and Love Temple, their love scenes oozed intensity, equal parts seductive, mysterious, and unpredictable. Rita's reserved elegance met Jim's bad boy swagger, and the result was cinematic gold. You could cut the tension with a knife, and audiences devoured every moment. Off-screen, the rumor mill worked overtime. Were they dating? Were they not? There were red carpet photos, cozy interviews, and subtle social media winks that left fans guessing. But like many Nollywood fan fantasies, it was never confirmed. Jim Ike later found himself in high-profile relationships, including a much-publicized one with Ghanaian actress Nadia Buhari. He eventually settled into a quieter life, welcoming a son with his European partner Dana Kindiete in 2019. Rita Dominic, after years of keeping her private life under wraps, tied the knot with Fidelis Anosike in 2022, a ceremony that shook the industry with its elegance and sheer joy. Now in 2025, Jim Ike has evolved into a businessman and filmmaker, launching his own lifestyle brand and venturing into tech investments. He's become more philosophical, often sharing introspective thoughts on fatherhood and purpose. Rita Dominic remains a force in both the Ghanaian and Nigerian film industries, balancing acting with executive producing. At number 7, we have Ramsy Noah and Kate Henshaw. If you watched Silent Night, End of the Wicked, or My Love, then you know Ramsy Noah and Kate Henshaw had that rare spark that didn't need much dialogue to shine. The way he would look at her, the way she would smile back, it was like watching real love unfold in real time. Their chemistry wasn't loud, it was graceful, authentic, almost sacred. They brought out the best in each other on screen, making every kiss, every conflict feel like a personal moment you weren't sure you were supposed to be watching. Naturally, fans shipped them hard. People swore there was something deeper going on. Some even claimed they were engaged in secrets, but both actors always dismissed the rumors with grace, maintaining a close professional of friendship without feeding into the speculation. In reality, Kate Henshaw was married to Roderick James Nuttall, a British businessman from 2000 until their quiet divorce in 2011. She has since embraced a strong independent public image, becoming a fitness icon and outspoken advocate for good governance and wellness. Ramsy Noah, notoriously private, has been married to Amelia Phillips Noah for over 2 decades. They have kept their relationship low-key, raising their children away from the spotlight. As of 2025, Ramsy has transitioned fully into directing. His critically acclaimed Netflix film Tokumbo set new streaming records for African cinema. It followed his earlier directorial success with Living in Bondage, Breaking Free, cementing his status as a creative visionary. Kate Henshaw, meanwhile, continues to be a household name, not just for her acting but for her advocacy work. She's a UNICEF ambassador, political commentator, and has a thriving YouTube series where she interviews wellness experts and civic leaders. At number 6, we have Amecha and Omotola Jalade Ekendi. In the late 90s and early 2000s, there was a kind of electric tension whenever Amecha and Omotola Jalade Ekendi shared the screen. Their chemistry wasn't just convincing, it was magnetic. They had that perfect sweet and sour balance. Amecha, the brooding, smooth-talking lover boy with a chip on his shoulder, and Omotola, the graceful fiery beauty who wouldn't be tamed. Together, they delivered heart-flipping performances in films like Games Women Play, Braveheart, and The Final Game. Whether they were locked in a heated lovers' quarrel or sharing a tender reconciliation, you believed them, and millions of fans did too. Of course, with that kind of chemistry, the rumor mill had a field day. Tabloids and fans speculated about a possible real-life romance brewing off-screen. They never confirmed anything, and while whispers lingered, nothing substantial came of it. As the years unfolded, both actors found love outside the glare of the film set. Omotola married Captain Matthew Ekendi in 1996 at just 18 years old, and the couple has remained one of the few long-standing marriages in the industry. Meanwhile, Amecha married Suzanne Emma in 2000, although their union ended in 2017 after a highly publicized court case. He later remarried a South African model, Yolanda Pfeffer, in 2020. As of 2025, Amecha has returned to acting after a lengthy hiatus, appearing in select Nollywood and Pan-African projects. He's also involved in education and film production. Omotola, on the other hand, has leaned into her legacy as a global icon. While she acts more sparingly now, she's involved in humanitarian work, produces occasionally, and remains a powerful voice in African entertainment advocacy. At number 5, we have Genevie Nnaji again, and this time with Magid Mcclure. When Genevie Nnaji met Magid Mcclure on screen, it was a fusion of Nigeria's Quiet Storm and Ghana's Wildfire. Their collaboration in films like Bursting Out, Silent Scandals, and Emerald created a new standard for romantic storytelling in Nollywood's crossover era. Their chemistry was mature, subtle, and intoxicating. They didn't need over-the-top drama to keep viewers glued. A lingering look from Magid, a soft sigh from Genevieve, and fans already shipping them into eternity. Their on-screen intimacy sparked countless speculations for a while, especially around 2009 to 2011. Social media buzzed with the possibility of something deeper behind the scenes. Both actors, however, kept it professional. If there was anything personal, they kept it tightly sealed. Over time, it became clear that the rumors were just that. Rumors. Despite his playboy antics on screen, Magid Mcclure is a family man, having married Verna Mcclure back in 2005. They have several children and remain together to this day. Interestingly, Magid underwent a spiritual transformation in the mid-2010s, becoming a full-time minister of the gospel. Though he still appears in films occasionally, especially faith-based ones, his primary focus is preaching, mentorship, and church work across West Africa. Next up at number 4, we have Desmond, Elliot, and Genevieve Nnaji, who was everyone's sweetheart back in the day. Before Desmond, Elliot became the man in the suit and tie, taking political stances in Lagos chambers, he was the quintessential lover boy, and some of his most unforgettable roles came alongside Genevie Nnaji. They starred together in emotionally charged romances like My Sister, My Love, Ladies Man, and Official Romance. Desmond's boyish charm paired beautifully with Genevieve's reserved intensity. They created believable romantic arcs, often playing lovers caught between tradition, temptation, and tragedy. Their fans were so convinced of their compatibility that rumors of a budding relationship off-screen swirled through fan pages and entertainment columns. Their fans were so convinced of their compatibility that rumors of a budding relationship off-screen swirled through fan pages and entertainment columns. But while the speculations added spice to their popularity, nothing ever came to fruition. As Desmond's political ambitions took shape, their paths professionally and personally began to diverge. Desmond Elliot married Victoria Elliot in 2003, and together they've raised 4 children. In 2015, he made a bold leap from entertainment into politics, becoming a Lagos State House of Assembly member under the All Progressive Congress (APC). As of 2025, he has served multiple terms and remains an active figure in Nigerian politics, often drawing both praise and criticism for his stances and comments. At number 3, we have Nonso Jobe and Okoye. These two were the golden pair of early 2000s romantic dramas. They weren't as flashy as many others, but their chemistry had this effortless charm. Films like Forever Yours, Black Bra, and Across the Bridge featured the duo in steamy but soulful roles. Oge often played the headstrong urban beauty, while Nonso played the sweet misunderstood lover. Together, they created magic that made fans believe they were soulmates off-screen too. And Nollywood watchers assumed something was up. The intimacy in their roles was too real, the way they laughed during press tours too natural, paparazzi style rumors flew, but again, nothing concrete ever emerged. They denied dating but always spoke glowingly of each other in interviews. Eventually, Oge married her longtime partner Stanley Duru. Though their marriage was short-lived and ended quietly, Nonso never made any public marriage announcements, and he has kept his romantic life intensely private. Despite the low profile, both have always maintained mutual respect. Okoye is now a wellness advocate and digital lifestyle coach. She runs a women-focused talk series online and dabbles in beauty entrepreneurship. Nonso Jobe, meanwhile, is still active in the Nollywood scene, both as an actor and director. At number 2, we have Saint Obi and Kate Henshaw. This one hits a little differently, not just for the nostalgia, but for the legacy. In their prime, Saint Obi and Kate Henshaw embodied class. Their on-screen chemistry in films like More Than a Woman, Executive Crime, and Sensational Spy was less about heat and more about poise. They played high society lovers, secret agents, or professionals drawn together by fate, always with a slow, simmering romance that felt dignified and adult. Fans often wondered whether there was more behind those respectful smiles and lingering eye contact, but both actors were consummate professionals. The gossip mill had little to chew on, just admiration and respect. Still, there were murmurs of something back then, especially because they had such flawless synergy in romantic thrillers. In real life, Kate Henshaw married British-born Roderick James in the late 90s, though their marriage eventually ended. Saint Obi kept his private life tightly sealed, marrying Lydia Sentumafo in a very quiet ceremony. They had 3 children together. Sadly, Saint Obi passed away in May 2023, a major blow to Nollywood and the millions who grew up watching him. At number 1, we have Muna Obiekwe and Genevie Nnaji. If you ever watched Sharon Stone, He Lives in Me, or Darkest Night, you know that Muna and Genevieve were one of Nollywood's most emotionally compelling duos. Muna had a brooding intensity that contrasted beautifully with Genevieve's soft strength. Their love scenes weren't just passionate, they were vulnerable. They gave us stories of heartbreak and healing, often making audiences feel like they weren't just watching a movie, but witnessing something raw and real. There were endless rumors in the mid-2000s about them being more than just co-stars. They were rarely seen apart during their film days, and their off-screen rapport was almost too tender to ignore, but nothing ever got confirmed. And perhaps that was for the best, a mystery that added to their myth. Sadly, that story took a heartbreaking turn. Muna Obiekwe passed in January 2015 due to kidney failure. His death shocked the industry. He had kept his illness private, and fans were devastated. Genevieve, alongside other Nollywood stars, paid tribute.